He seemed ordinary, soft-spoken, polite, even awkward, the type of man you'd walk past on the street without a second glance. Neighbors waved. The landlord barely remembered him. He bought ham and bread, took the bus, smiled awkwardly. But inside apartment 213 was a laboratory of horror. Ahead in the fridge, barrels filled with acid, photographs, hundreds of them, documenting each stage of mutilation. Bleach, bones, Polaroids, a shrine made of skulls, and confessions that chilled seasoned detectives to their core. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't just kill. He kept, he posed, he slept beside corpses, he ate parts of them. This is not just a story of a serial killer. This is a descent into the darkest corners of obsession, loneliness, and control. This is Whispers of Crime. And this is the story of Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. Milwaukee, summer 1991. A man stumbles into the street. He's handcuffed, barefoot, his eyes wide, desperate, scan the road for help. He flags down 2 officers. He tells them he escaped from an apartment down the block, that a man tried to kill him, that he was tied up, threatened, photographed, and he barely got away. The officers follow him to Oxford Apartments, Unit 213. The door opens. Jeffrey Dahmer greets them, calmly, almost casually. Inside, the stench hits first. Rot, decay, bleach, then the photographs, lined in drawers, stacked in closets, pictures of dismembered bodies, posed, arranged, documented. In the fridge, a severed head. In the freezer, organs. Everywhere, remnants of lives taken and preserved. The officers look at Dahmer. He doesn't run. He doesn't deny it. He simply says, "I did this. I'll tell you everything." And he did. But to understand a man, you have to go back. Jeffrey Dahmer was born in 1960, raised in Bath, Ohio. His father, Lionel, was a chemist. His mother, Joyce, struggled with mental health. By age 4, Jeffrey had a double hernia surgery, an event his father later described as traumatic. As a child, Jeffrey was withdrawn, quiet. He loved animals, not in a tender way, but a curious one. He collected dead ones, squirrels, raccoons, birds. He'd dissect them, boil their bones, store them in jars. He said he liked the sound the bones made when they clinked together. By adolescence, the signs were there. He was isolated, drinking heavily by 14, struggling with his sexuality, battling fantasies of domination, of death, of keeping someone forever. At 18, those fantasies became real. Dahmer picks up Stephen Hicks, a hitchhiker. They drink beer, talk. But when Stephen tries to leave, Jeffrey panics. He bludgeons him with a dumbbell, strangles him, then dismembers the body, buries parts in the backyard, dissolves others in acid. And then he waits. For nearly a decade, Dahmer doesn't kill, but the urges never left. In the meantime, he joins the army, gets discharged, works at a chocolate factory, moves around, drinks more, is arrested for exposing himself, then again for fondling a minor. But in 1987, something shifts. He meets Stephen Twomey at a bar, and the killing begins again. From 1987 to 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer murdered 16 more young men. He lured them from malls, bus stops, bars, offering money, drinks, companionship. They were mostly men of color. Many were gay. Many were vulnerable. He'd bring them home, drug them, strangle them, and then preserve them. Some he posed. Some he photographed as he dismembered them. He'd keep skulls on shelves, genitals in jars. He'd bleach bones. He stored torsos in acid vats. And sometimes he ate them. He later confessed to cooking biceps in a skillet, eating hearts, savoring livers with mustard. He said it made them part of him. Investigators didn't know what to make of it. He wasn't frenzied. He wasn't angry. He was methodical, cold, soft-spoken, and deeply, deeply disturbed. But why? Dahmer told psychiatrists he didn't want to kill. He wanted a zombie, a warm, quiet body, Something permanent. He said he was tired of people leaving. That's when he started experimenting. He drilled holes into the skulls of some victims while they were alive, poured acid in, hoping to destroy their will. He wanted to erase their autonomy, not just dominate, but own. His apartment became a laboratory. He posed corpses at his table, took Polaroids, sometimes slept beside the dead for days, kept heads in the fridge, painted skulls with enamel to preserve them. He later admitted, "I wanted to create an altar, a place to feel at home. That altar, it would have included a black table with candles, a row of skulls polished and arranged." He said it would have made him feel peaceful, but his peace was always interrupted by people trying to leave. In May 1991, he met Konarak Sintasamphone, 14 years old. He drugged him, assaulted him, drilled into his skull, poured acid, then left the boy alone while he stepped out for beer. But Konarak escaped, naked, disoriented, bleeding. He flagged down bystanders, who called police. When they arrived, Dahmer intercepted them. He told them it was a lover's quarrel, showed them Polaroid of Konarak, smiling earlier that evening. The officers laughed, believed him, and left the boy in Dahmer's custody. Konarak was dead within the hour. Those officers never searched the apartment. If they had, they would have found body parts feet away, and possibly saved more lives. It was Tracy Edwards who finally ended it, July 22nd, 1991. Tracy escaped Dahmer's grip and ran to police. He led them back to apartment 213, and the nightmare unraveled. Inside were 7 skulls, 2 complete skeletons, a painted skull, a 57-gallon drum of acid containing 3 torsos, Polaroids over 80 documenting every stage of his killings, tools, knives, saws, a fridge containing a human head, a freezer with hearts, biceps, and livers. The apartment was clean, tidy, almost surgical. Investigators described it as part museum, part morgue. And through it all, Dahmer was calm. He answered every question, told every detail, explained every murder, not with excitement, not with shame, just matter of fact. His trial began in January 1992. He pled guilty but insane. His defense claimed he suffered from necrophilia, borderline personality disorder, and a profound inability to control his urges. The prosecution argued he knew exactly what he was doing. He planned. He hid evidence. He chose victims he thought wouldn't be missed. He altered crime scenes, lied to police. He wasn't insane. He was calculating. The jury agreed. Jeffrey Dahmer was found guilty on 15 counts of murder. He received 15 life sentences, totaling 957 years in prison. But justice didn't last long. In November 1994, just 2 years into his sentence, Dahmer was murdered in the prison bathroom, beaten to death with a metal bar by another inmate. He died the same way many of his victims did, quietly, alone, but his legacy endures. Books, films, series, debates, and questions. So many questions. Was he born evil? Made by trauma? A byproduct of neglect? Or something deeper? What about the victims? Why did it take so long to stop him? Why were so many ignored, dismissed by police? What if Konarak had been believed? What if someone had knocked on that door sooner? Jeffrey Dahmer didn't look like a monster. He looked like a man. Quiet, soft-spoken, someone you'd never suspect. And maybe that's what makes him so terrifying. That beneath the most ordinary facade can hide the darkest kind of hunger. So now we ask you, what do you think really drove Jeffrey Dahmer? Was he born with darkness, or slowly consumed by it? Could anyone have stopped him? Drop your theory in the comments. Let's remember the names, not just the crimes. Let's speak the story silence tried to bury. And if this story made you pause, subscribe to Whispers of Crime, where silence ends and the shadows speak.